Okay, so it's a party.
Yes.
But about TV.
Yes. Join us every Monday for TV Party, where we'll talk about the news of the moment, the best episodes of the week, and what we can't wait to find sitting on our DVRs.
We'll also chat with actors, writers, and experts about TV, elect classic characters to our Hall of Faces, deep dive into full seasons of some great shows, and more.
Find us at Consequence of Sound, iTunes, or wherever you procure fine podcasts.
Oh, Clint, one more thing. Is it open bar?
It's BYO.
Oh, got it.
Consequence Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's an audio interview series presented by WFPK Independent Louisville at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening from so you can keep up with all these interviews that we put out. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today my guest is Luke Pritchard of the band The Kooks. They got a brand new record called Let's Go Sunshine that we're going to hear about, that Luke calls a record that defines who they are. I'll ask how the 2017 Best Of songs might have played into this record and what it's been like opening up for the Rolling Stones on multiple occasions. We'll also turn back the clock to 2008 to talk about their sophomore record. It's obviously celebrating 10 years this year. It's called Conk. It was a very volatile time for the band, especially following a huge debut. Check it out. It's Kyle Meredith with the Kooks.
Kyle, hello, mate.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, man. Very good.
Yeah, it was funny. I was listening to the, I was re-listening to the new single, Four Leaf Clover, when the phone rang. Just getting into that, and I think this one might be my favorite one from the new record, Let's Go Sunshine. It's Four Leaf Clover. It sounds like whoever the character is might need that luck, though. It's not exactly a happy song that you would associate with something like that, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean it's quite it's painting quite a negative picture of someone who, you know, it's kind of offloading their shit onto the world, you know, and kind of caught in a bad situation. I don't even really end it with any hope, so it's kind of like a Morrissey song, really. It's like, you know, you guys just deal with it how you want to deal with it. But I mean, what's cool is because, of course, like the song is quite, it has that, it's quite an uplifting sort of beat and guitar sound. So hopefully there's like, it's got a kind of subversive thing to it, you know.
With a line like in that, you know, I guess pre-chorus where it says you write a column for the Times. I mean, to have such a specific line like that, I did have to wonder if there's anybody real sort of based behind this somewhere.
There is someone slightly who I wouldn't name or anything, but someone that has written bad things, not just about me, but about lots of people, and who I was kind of thinking about when I was writing it with Chris. And but there's lots of them, you know. I mean, I think it's not just journalists at all. It's kind of about, because I mean, I think one of the things is like the kind of tabloidy side of it is it's often not. It goes into sort of like weird kind of bullying, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? And we have that big time in the UK, way more than the US. You know, it's like stuff gets kind of I don't know. It can get a bit out of hand, I think, where people are treated quite unfairly. And so, yes, but, you know, there's a journal that I wouldn't name check, but she was definitely on my mind.
Right. Well, you know, she made for a good song, a really good song, and that's how it usually goes. You know, this new record, you know, with Let's Go Sunshine, I've read you all talking about a little bit in the early days of this about, you know, this album being about defining who you are at this point. Like that maybe this is something a bit more important than just the usual album cycle. What's the story behind that?
Well, I don't know. I think, you know, every time you come to make a record, you know, you're forced to kind of define yourself, because you have like the kind of things you're disposed of, like, you know, you go in the studio and you've got you start working, and you are kind of forced to really try to go for something and try and have a statement or have something to say or a sound to make. And I just feel that on this one, it was because we went on more of a journey, because we had kind of carried on where we left off on Listen, which was we went even further. We didn't really have any words. It was just lots of quite cool soundscapey ideas. And we had just like a bit of an epiphany of like kind of what is the Kooks, and we sort of came out of that wanting to make a British rock and roll record, you know. And I think that was quite hard because of the sort of outside pressures of the world at the moment. It's kind of you're being pushed into a place where it feels like that kind of music is going to be tougher to put out, you know. And so I think we made a decision to, I guess you could say, redefine the band and just kind of be comfortable with that and get back in the studio. And I mean, I guess it was just all about looking internally and being like, we want to get in a room and we want to play, capture chemistry and play the best we can as a band, as opposed to, like I say, like working in a way of, high-fiving in the corridors of the studio or whatever, like, collaging this stuff. So, and also just with the writing from my point of view, because that's, kind of my job really. And I really feel like I really wanted to make sure I had the songs really where I wanted them before we recorded. And that sounds maybe a little silly, but it's like the way that we had been working was very much like writing in the studio. While we were making the music, I'd be writing the words and the melodies, and so this was cool to like really like everything was structured and arranged on the guitar, piano kind of thing before recording, and that made a big difference, I think.
It sounds like there was you all had put a song on the greatest hits that came out 27, "Be Who You Are." It sounded like that became more of the mantra for yourselves, really.
Yeah, we had two mantras, and it was "Be Who You Are" and "No Pressure." Like, we were kind of coming in with that. But it is, I mean, I think there's a lot. There's not in a particularly overly serious way, but there's definitely been a lot of self-reflection for us as a band, I think, recently, and it's been a good time. It's been really exciting. I think we just want to, we want to enjoy what we do, and I think the pressures of making records for the sake of making records is there, and I think we just really on this album, when I connected with Brandon, the producer, like the first time we met, I think we talked about that at length. I just want to have a fucking great time. I just want to be in the studio and have fun with my mates making music again. And that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? I think we feel that on the record. It's got a real kind of sort of loose look to it, you know what I mean? I hope that comes across.
Yeah, well, it kind of go further down that because, I brought up that best of that came out last year, which, for a lot of artists, that is sort of a closing of a chapter, and I don't know if it was peripheral for you or if it really does feel like, okay, that's that part of our career put to bed, let's recalibrate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's just purely contractual because we were leaving our label, and I mean, there was that element to it, which was kind of like the label. We were leaving the label. We were moving to Cobalt from Virgin Records, and of course, Virgin being a label, they want to do a best of, and we could have not done it. I mean, they could have put it out and we wouldn't have promoted it, but they came to us and went, look, we want to do this, and to be fair, it came at a very cool point. I mean, it's not the most exciting story so far, but it was just because we'd had this moment where we'd recorded for a few months and it wasn't really happening. It was quite a nice moment to be like, do you know what, we'll just get on the road and we're just going to play music and play to our fans and play the songs they want to hear, rather than like really having to have the pressure of making a record. And that was really great. So that, in a way, it's bad, for a lot of people will be like, oh shit, you took 4 years to make your record, but I think that it did give us, like I say, that like kind of self-reflection, and we managed to like take our time, got on the road, played all those songs, put it out of our system, and then when we got back in the studio, we were really hungry and ready, and we had the tunes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and thematically with the rest of Let's Go Sunshine, it does seem like there's a little bit of boy versus girl going on in it, which is always a great subject to write on, but it is worth asking about. I mean, is this sort of the arc of a real relationship happening here too?
Yeah, that kind of is. I mean, the song, the song kind of and the videos were kind of reflecting that it's kind of, the songwriting is definitely female centric, and kind of glorifying a lot of people in my life, and also maybe sort of taking stock of things that didn't go so well, and so I think I was in a place, a bit of turmoil, and kind of I wanted to pull myself into the work and not. I wasn't really, had some bad relationships and being treated badly and all that kind of thing. And like you said, a lot of people say that's good for writing songs. It's the first thing you think if someone's cheated on you, it's like, I'm going to get a great song out of this. But it was a bit. I mean, it wasn't like a heartbreak record at all. It was just like, I think there's a bit of letting go of the past in the words, and whether it's like Weight of the World or like Fractured Days, the kind of these songs that I guess I think I was sort of letting go of as something, and they're quite romantic. But then there's like, you know, No Pressure, which is about, you know, when I met my girlfriend, we were falling in love, and it was all, you know, the beginning stages of love and like bubbly, and I think, you know, that I hope we captured that on that song, and so yeah, I guess there's an arc of like searching and finding love, yeah. But it isn't, you know, I think, you know, it's not. There's lots of different themes, you know. I mean, like when I wrote Pamela, for example, I was just like, I really want to be playful on this record, you know. And I think great British bands, like the bands that I love, it's what we do best, man. Is it like, you know, you've got to have your heartfelt, like, you know, horrible songs, and you've got to have a bit of humour. And I think, you know, we do Monty Python very well. And so, like, writing a song about, you know, falling in love with a mental patient, you know, you don't know the mental patient as you get picked up in the evening, you know, that's on there. And then you've got, like you mentioned, Four Leaf Clover, and it's a collection of ideas, really, and each song has its own universe. But as a whole, like in terms of my own psyche, there's definitely, like, you know, feeling pretty down, and then halfway through, like, you know, coming through that and falling in love, and that definitely comes through, man.
Well, here's something a bit easier maybe to talk about than, you know, your relationship struggles. You mentioned some great bands, you know, mentors and everything. You guys opened up for the Rolling Stones, right?
Yeah, we did, yeah. That was cool, man.
I mean, that's just one of those, like, who gets that?
It was great, like, you know, I mean, it was great because we got asked back. How cool was that?
Yeah,
like, you know, we played some shows with them in, like, 2006. No, it was really good. I think it was really cool on this album as well, because this album we'd really been looking to the Stones, looking to the Kinks and the Beatles, and like it's definitely like we feel like we're holding on to the kind of beat band situation, so it was good to play with kind of the greatest version of that. I think, you know, it's inspiring, and yeah, it's super cool, man, and it's being part of musical history.
That's right.
You know, you never know when their last tour's going to be.
You know, you all have been a band for well over a decade now, so it's not like exactly like you need mentorship. But with a band like that, do you try to get an opportunity for a little advice, or maybe just it's, you know, inspiration, as you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way that they run their ship is quite inspirational. I think that going back to what I was saying earlier about our kind of journey, and what I think is a bit harder these days than it was because of all the distractions. But I think you just watch a band that just love playing. You know, they don't need to do it for the money. They're not doing it for. I mean, it's definitely they're doing it because they love the glory. You know, but you can just tell when they're sound checking, when they're playing, they're rehearsing. I mean, they have a rehearsal room backstage. Do you know what I mean? Wow. They want to be the best, and they want to play the blues. They love their music, and I think that is really good to see for bands like ourselves, you know, like a band that's done that many records. They're still trying to, you know, they're still doing it for the love of the music, basically, which is really cool, you know. And yeah, of course, like, would have been nice to get some words. I mean, we saw them very briefly on one of the days, but they're very busy individuals, so you try not to take up their time.
As far as anniversaries go, you know, being a band over a decade and everything, one of your records does turn about a nice even 10 this year, and that's Conk, one of my favorite albums of yours.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, 10th anniversary on that one. Do you have you heard that one lately?
Not really. I don't listen back to the record. I mean, I listened back to it when we were doing the best of, because I went through all the tapes and I went through all the B-sides, which is quite funny. We did for Conk. We did a session for 2 days, sort of 48 hours, and we recorded 76 songs for the demos before we recorded the album, which is ridiculous. I mean, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like 59 of them were complete dog shit, but you know, there was some fun stuff on there. We got a few on the deluxe, but yeah, that was yeah, you know, I've got 10 years seems crazy. I can't quite believe it. But yeah, very proud of that record, you know.
You know, and that's what I thought, you know, you're writing that many songs, because I think, as the famous story goes, I mean, you guys sort of had a record deal within just a few months of being a band, you know, for that first record, which exploded. So it's almost seems to me like Conk was the record of, okay, now we're an actual band who has to prove ourselves that we can actually do this. You know,
right. Conk was a very hard record to make, you know. our bass player was having serious drug problems, and we that was really something that I don't ever want to see again. It's like quite a tough time actually in my life to see a best friend going through that, and it was brilliant, and I think we did capture some really good moments. But if I was to be honest, I remember being quite a tough time, and the pressure, and we wanted to make a much more rocky album than our first one, which we did, and it was much more like we wanted to make something much more Stonesy and not really Stonesy, but like just much more rock, I guess. I think we achieved that, and it was cool. And I think it's great working with Tony Hoffer again because he really kept us together. But we were in a bit of turmoil as a band, and we didn't really deal with the explosion of the first album as well as we could have. But I guess no one teaches you in life how to cope with this shit. It's like. I mean, I'm not saying that anyone should feel sorry for us, for fuck's sake. I mean, we've been very, very lucky, but it was just it was just crazy. I mean, we were quite shy teenagers before that first album came out, and then all of a sudden, everything was going so well for us, and it was just quite hard to deal with. And like I say, like Max, our bass player, just really fell right off the rails. But I guess maybe in some weird way, I mean, if you think about that time, I mean, that album kind of represents that time. It was a very hedonistic time. You know what I mean? I don't know if you were in London at the time, but it was pretty crazy.
No, I had to watch from afar myself, but just kind of keeping up with the story, and of course, I was a fan of the band to kind of hear that. But with all that going on, and to still be able to crank out that many songs, just to have the time to write that much and to commit that much, even if they were crap songs, that didn't really make the cut. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, well, thanks. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just what we did. I mean, I've always been I've always written a lot personally. I'm always trying to. I just fucking love writing songs. I think it's an incredible thing, man. It's something that, like, if I'm not doing it, I miss it, and I do it for enjoyment as much as I do because it's my job. So, you know what I mean? It's like it's cool. But this is the thing. It's just so wild. It's like with the new album, it's just trying to direction those songs and things like that, and really hone in on them. That's the real key bit. And on this album, I had Brandon Friesen and Chris Seafried really help guide that. And it's kind of like we kind of, you mentioned Conk and our first album, we kind of had some kind of, I don't know the word, but it was a lot of catharsis.
Yeah, sure. No, that works.
We were kind of it was good, man. We did a lot of a lot of thinking and really really at peace and resolving all that shit that happened and being proud of who we are and what we are as a band and what we mean, and that's where I think this album's come from. It's that kind of real let's do what we do best, you know what I mean, rather than trying to run away and be let's do something really modern or really different.
Yeah, well, I sincerely appreciate how it turns out. I mean, Let's Go Sunshine is, it's another great record in your long history, your long building history at the moment. So,
thank you so much, man.
Luke, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Congrats again on Let's Go Sunshine, and I guess we'll see you out on the road somewhere.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care.
All right, brother. All right, bye.
Bye. Hey, my thanks to Luke Pritchard of the Kooks. Their brand new record is called Let's Go Sunshine. It is now available. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, whether you're listening on YouTube or you're checking out the podcast at iTunes or Podchaser or wherever you're getting it from. Subscribe, give it a rating, then please do leave a review as well. Let everybody know how much you enjoy these interviews. Then you're going to head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern. You'll also hear some bonus episodes of this series over there. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.